really random start, but this is actually a play button. I did not know that. And this is like, look, that's in the YouTube tab.
A robot?
Yeah.
Bird.
Okay, new game, really cool. And this is the pause button. I'm saying this because I remember I pressed like the backspace key, or so I thought, and started playing YouTube. And I was so confused, but like this is actually a play button. And I didn't know this is another reason why this is such a great laptop. ROG Strix G16. But let's get into the main video. Hey, what's up? Okay, so that was the, I guess V something. I don't know what version I would consider this. I still consider this version one. To be honest, I think the only big difference that's been made is that I'm hosted on Amazon Web Services. I think it was really I think it was important for my growth to do it. It was complex. It was very tiring. All in all, I think it took at least 6 hours. Cause I remember I stayed up to 3 a.m. today working on it, trying to get on the Amazon Web Services, and it wasn't working. Then I went to bed, woke up, and then I spent another 3 hours. Then it finally worked. Some changes had to be like the biggest change. I think in the last couple of bugs and fixes was that I just had to get more storage for I'm using the EC2 plan. I'm also using Linux, which hasn't been that bad. It's been pretty cool. But using the EC2 system, so it's got more gigabytes. I think that's what it says GIB. I think it's gigabytes. I'm 99% sure it's gigabytes, but I don't know what the I stands for, unless it's like gig. I don't know. But yeah, I had to get more because I was using because the plan is the max is 30 gigabytes for free, and then I extended mine to like 60 because I was uploading. I think it was the embedding model. I was using like a Hugging Face, some Hugging Face and embedding model, and the embedding model essentially what it does, it basically like takes the text, like it parses the allocations document for this RAG project, and it basically finds like the semantic meaning and finds like similarities by making them into vectors and comparing them. But I switched it to a smaller model because at first I wasn't sure what was going on. I just knew that actually no. After I found out it was a storage issue, right? I switched to a smaller embedding model, and then eventually it still wasn't working. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna increase the storage. I'm willing to pay maybe like $1 or so. So I increased it to like 60 gigabytes, and then now it was working. But I think the issue I have now is that like the performance of the RAG system that I just showed wasn't that good. Like compared to previous performances, it was very I think subpar. So I think the issue may be in the embedding model I'm using because that was like I think the biggest change I've made. Another issue is that the feedback input system, it doesn't really go to like it doesn't go to where I stored like the original feedback data. And I guess that's because I'm hosting on my laptop. I can see it like if I go into like the EC2 console terminal, whatever it's called, still learning the whole AWS thing. But if I go there, I can like do a function. I can see like the feedback inputs, but I'm trying to see where I can like store them and save them so I can look through multiple people, like if multiple people around the world are using them, I can look through and see what's going on there. Um, but yeah, yeah. I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous episode, but I did use Render initially because I thought it was going to be like it was much simpler using Render. There was a storage issue with that one as well, and then that's what prompted me to switch to AWS, which is kind of funny that eventually I decided I'm just gonna pay some money. But yeah, I think it's I don't know. To be very frank, right? To be very frank, I've used AI for a lot of like, especially with AWS, just to understand what's going on. Like I've used an AI tutorial to like figure out like what are the steps to do, and that didn't work. So like a lot of the times when like I'll get to like step 3 or step 4, there'll be something that I was like, I don't want to use AI to do this because it's just gonna become more complex and verbose. So I have to like go through a whole like rabbit tunnel or bunny hole. Rabbit tunnel, I think is the term. I'll have to go through a whole rabbit tunnel and then try and figure out what's going on there. And I think that's where a lot of learning did happen. I'm really grateful. Um because I think if it just worked perfectly, I wouldn't have learned much, right? I was just like, okay, hey Gemini, tell me what's going on here. Like, tell me how to do this. But since there were a lot of bugs throughout the way, I had to like actually like pick up on some stuff. And to be very honest, I still don't know that much, right? I still have like a base idea, but I think it's nice that I got to get some experience with AWS. Yeah, I remember I was going to do a snapshot before I changed. Like, this is something I was really interested in. Like, I'm not really interested. I just thought it was interesting. I was like, I was going to do a snapshot, but it was like a really, really, really long time, so I didn't do a snapshot. That has no relevance, but I just thought about it. I feel like maybe I felt guilty about that because like it was 65%, and then I was reloading, and I was like, it went to like no, it was 50%. Then I reloaded it again, and went to like 60%. But it's like a long time. And I was being very honest. I was like, if I mess up with this increasing storage thing, I'm just gonna start all over. Use another hosting service. So I didn't need to really take a snapshot if I was being honest. Any other details that I think I should mention? I do think I think what I really like about this project is regardless of impact, even though impact drives me, regardless of impact, there's so much learning being done. It's not just like a point A to point B thing. It feels very much like One Piece. Like it feels very much like a journey in that you can't just get from point A to point B. You have to start by like there's a bunch of pit stops you have to do. Like you have to go to you have to go to A.1, A.2, A.3, and maybe I can do a traverse like point C or something like that. But it's like there's so much learning that's going on that you wouldn't even think of, right? Like I didn't think I would be even using AWS when I started this project. Um, but yeah, I think that's what I love so much about it. It's very fun. And I guess like a lot of it is even coding. Like to be honest, there's been very minimal changes I've made to my code. I think a lot of it just has been like using services and planning the thing. So I also think that's something that's really always interesting to note when it comes to like coding projects, like the ratio between like the time spent coding and the time spent like planning um, is always surprising. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. I think the next couple of steps are to change the embedding model back because I think it should have enough storage. So change it back to the original one. Cause I really love the original and I was really sad to see it go. Fix the feedback system so I can actually log it for future use. And then change the UI. Like the UI looks cool. I think it has a nice, I want to say retro vibe. It's very it's really cool, but I don't think it's I don't know. I don't think. I think I can make it better, right? I was going to say accessible, but I don't think accessible is the term here. Um, I think it's just a matter of it doesn't like. I don't want to say professional either. I just want. I think it can be. It can fit better with the SGB pit theme. I think I really want to do that. It's just like it seems more intuitive. I think, even though it's like how much intuitiveness can you? That's not the word, but how intuitive can you make something like that? Because like there's only like one place where you can text, and there's like only a couple buttons you can press. But yeah, and even that, like I think another interesting aspect is like even the user design space of things, because that's another whole area of thinking and learning skills that I have to adapt to. Even though it is a startup idea or just like an app idea I want to work on, and it's very user design heavy. Cause I think it's gonna play a big role in it. And I was wondering if because that's not a skill I think I excel in. It's a skill I think I have, but I don't think I excel in yet. So I really want to try making friends in that area to see what I can get done. But yeah, so far that's where the project is at. I've already listed out the next couple of steps, but I'm very, very excited because it did take a very long time to get hosted on Amazon Web Services, and I'm really grateful to I want to say to God for all the experience that I've gotten. Because like, man, it was at times very, 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 very depressing. Like I honestly just didn't know what's going on at times, and then sometimes I figured out what's going on. I thought I found the solution, and then it wasn't the solution, and just kept on going like that. But I think now that it's hosted and it's just a matter of quality, it's a much easier fix. So I can't wait to get into that. But before I do that, I'm probably gonna take it easy for a bit. Probably gonna use my VR headset system, which I haven't used in a couple months. And just take it easy. I think what I find interesting, not to make this video too long, but what I find interesting, like to me, I think I'm a very hardworking person. I think I'm a hardworking person. But that hard work doesn't come in the it's not like I'm 24 hours I'm working straight. It's much more I have my I have my sprints of work. And I think to do that I also like to have the mentality of not like balance, but also just like live a fun, happy life. 'Cause I think everything I do is fun. I don't know, it's hard to explain in that sense, but I think it was something I'm exploring a lot more in my head. Cause like as I'm doing this project, I do think it's a difficult project. I do think it's a fun project. I do think it's a productive project. but I was also wondering like how come I don't feel like overwhelmed, if that makes sense. And it's really interesting, like just trying to piece or like trying to break that apart and see like how I can maintain this type of lifestyle where it's like I'm doing stuff that I think are productive, impactful, and all that, and like I'm getting a lot of learning out of it, but it's also really fun. I'm also doing stuff like sometimes it's just, like as I'm waiting for because there was times when I had to reset the system like on Amazon Web Services or like load the system wherever. And then what I'd do like in my free time was just like play Dead Cells. I feel like that's just a nice balance of it because all the times there's not much you can do as something is loading, right? So it's just nice to have like something else you can do for fun, right? And other times I'll go look at I'll look at a Medium, like look at a Medium article. I remember a while back I was reading one about AI image generation and like the it has a very dopamine gambler effect. And I thought it was really interesting. So it's just a really nice balance I'm really happy of, happy with. I really want to explore it more and see how I can utilize it more. I think is the point. But besides that, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.